So you're saying earlier about like you know you've got your family and that now. That's something that you know going forwards, like there's I don't feel there's like a lot of information out there about like the family sort of side of it.
Mhm.
When somebody sees somebody in a wheelchair, normally they just assume that they're a single person that
Yeah.
doesn't have any life, you know,
Yeah.
relationship life and that. So yeah, especially someone who's young, and they've just had their injury, they might be like, oh, why would anybody want to be with me, sort of
Yeah.
thing. So I feel like talk about that sort of stuff would be really helpful to people.
Okay. Well, after I had my injury, I didn't find it too hard going back into the world and sort of, I don't know, being confident about, you know, meeting girls and stuff like that. Within a few years, I felt fairly confident in my wheelchair, and in fact, you know, I used my crutches quite a lot to begin with when I left hospital, and I actually found that it's a bit more disabling actually being on crutches sometimes, and I think a lot of people don't really understand, they don't get it. People who are able-bodied see a wheelchair as very much being something you want to get out of, you know,
Yeah.
and if there's a possibility that you could walk a few steps with crutches, that would be the preferred option, and that's what my mindset was for quite a few years after leaving hospital. And it takes a while to realise that actually you're more, certainly for my level of ability of walking, you're much more disabled on your crutches than you are in a wheelchair, because you can't go fast, you can't carry things, you can't like be spontaneous, you can't go around, and there are restrictions on wheelchairs obviously, you know, the terrain that you're going on, but in general it's a lot easier and a lot more sociable and easy to be around people in a chair. So I've sort of found that after I sort of realised that, I didn't feel, I don't know, I think you're a similar person after your injury as you are before, and it does affect you, but once you sort of get your head around what's happened, you become a similar person to that you were before the injury. So I didn't really have any major embarrassment or like kind of, I didn't feel restricted at talking to girls and meeting girls and stuff like that.
I was interested in what you were saying about like the wheelchair and that. I always try and say to people, I'm not like bound to the wheelchair. The wheelchair enables me to do things. Like it's a great thing that I have a wheelchair, because if I didn't have one, I wouldn't be able to do I wouldn't be able to do anything, but I'd be stuck in bed all day. So, which is exactly what they used to do with spinal injury people. Initially, they just stuck them in a bed and left them.
Wait till them to die, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So a wheelchair is actually an amazing thing that allows, you know, so many possibilities and that.
Yeah,
so
very much so.
It's quite good to get that point across to people, and like you know, once they understand that, that's quite good. Especially if you've got like a group of friends and they understand that, and then if you're going out with them and doing things, they can sort of not like protect you or anything, but like they can be there to be, you know.
Yeah, people need to understand that we do have limitations.
Yeah.
But that we still want to take part in as much of the stuff as we can.
Yeah. Definitely.
And I think that's it's just about people that, you know, being able to help you overcome those limitations, but not sort of mollycoddle you so that you're not being involved with stuff.
Yeah, they sort of like push you to be a better person, which is like the sort of friends you want around you, especially in those early days. But like you said, we was talking about like the relationship side of it. Again, for myself, I never found there was like an issue talking to girls or that, and never really had an issue with them talking to me back either. You get some that are, you know, a drunk girl that's, you know, a bit too drunk and she wants to sit on your lap and that, and it's a bit like, I don't really want this right now. But
take it or leave it, depending what's
depending on the situation.
You're young, free and single, and you got a hot girl wanting to sit on your lap, you know, you just decide whether you're like, I'll go for that. Or whether that's not what you want, but
it's quite obviously it's a bit different, you know. I found that I had a lot more girls approaching me rather than me having to approach girls. So but I always say that it's a really good sort of filter for people, the wheelchair. Like, I wouldn't want to date somebody that wouldn't want to date someone because they're in a wheelchair anyway. So being in a wheelchair means that
you actually those people already.
Those people are already gone. All the, you know, pretentious and, you know, shallow people. They're sort of you know, they're already filtered out, and generally I feel like, because you met Joe, your wife, after your injury.
Yes.
And it seems that, like, there are some people that get injured and they have relationships that fail, and that seems to be more common than somebody who finds someone after their injury, and that seems to be, it's different in every circumstance. But what was like? How did you meet Joe, and how did that all come apart?
Well, I've lived in some quite interesting houses. I've been always involved in like doing big house parties and things, and the sort of social scene and stuff. So after I graduated from my engineering degree, I stayed around in the area where my university is. So I kind of ended up living in houses with lots of other graduates, and after a few years I ended up living in a house of 13 people, so massive. It used to be an old people's home, but it was sort of turned into student accommodation or graduate accommodation, and there was 13 bedrooms and 13 people, and we used to have absolutely massive house parties of like hundreds of people in our house, particularly when I was running a club night and people knew about that, so we'd have some huge parties, and I think I'd been living in that house for 2 years, and then somebody moved out across the corridor from me and Joe moved in, and within about 6 months we had sort of started seeing each other.
Oh, that's nice.
So, but it was easy, just I just used to talk to her when she came home from work, and just got to know her that way, and then we got closer and closer, and it's been us for, I should know this, we got married in 2010, so
she can skip this bit.
Yeah. So 8.5 years we've been married and been seeing each other for a few years before that.
That's lovely. Yeah, it's good to that like another, say she met you in another way, I don't know how it would have worked, but the fact she got to know you as a person and that, and I just didn't see the wheelchair and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, I think that's the way that relationships happen best, if you sort of get to know people as a friend and then
exactly, and that's just the same as, that doesn't matter if you're in a wheelchair or not. So it's like that, the wheelchair doesn't really affect the situation at all, which is quite important for people, I think, they find out on themselves, but knowing that the wheelchair isn't the be all and end all of everything that controls their life, it's just the same. So. There's not really much difference.
Yeah, I mean, there will be people who it becomes an issue for. I remember when Jo told me that she's a primary school teacher, or she was, her headmistress took her aside and said, are you sure you want to be dating this guy in a wheelchair? He's going to really limit your, prospects for the future and stuff like that. And she was really offended by it. And
I imagine.
She was, to be honest, a rubbish head teacher.
Yeah, that's not a good person.
She was very negative on disability in general, which was a bit of a frustration. But there will always be people out there who see an issue with it. Yeah,
I think generally those people that see the issue, it's not because, it's more about the ignorance of it. Like, they don't understand the situation, they don't understand you, they don't understand what you can do. They just see a wheelchair and they're like, oh.
Yeah.
And especially somebody from an older generation, because when they grew up, they didn't see disabled people around because they were stuck in an old person's home or something. So. Yeah.